Okay, so a very common question that we get from both students and parents is, should I take the ACT or the SAT? Now, this is such an interesting question because people believe, one exam is easier than the other. People believe some colleges accept one exam over the other, etc. But very few people know the truth. So let me tell you the truth. The truth is, there really is no difference. The ACT and SAT are very, very similar. Your scores are typically very, very similar on both exams. In addition, colleges will accept either one. Just about every single college will accept either the ACT or the SAT. I haven't seen one college that only accepts one exam and not the other. So you really only need to take one of the two exams. It's not necessary to take both exams. Now, with that being said, however, I do think there are some benefits to taking the SAT, and it's great that you guys have chosen to take the new SAT. What I would always tell students is to focus on one test. So, for example, either just focus on the ACT, learn that test amazingly, and knock it out of the park, or focus on the SAT, learn that test amazingly, and knock it out of the park. Unfortunately, there are a few kinks to this now. One of the big kinks is a lot of school districts are requiring students to either take the ACT or the SAT. So they'll require one exam or the other. So, if you feel like you really want to study for the SAT, but your school district is making you take the ACT, for example, Clark County School District is requiring that of students in Las Vegas, then, you're kind of in a rut, right? So it's kind of hard to figure that out. But I still recommend studying for the SAT because of a few benefits that you'll get out of it. The College Board is the company that publishes the SAT. The College Board is also the company that publishes the PSAT, SAT 2 exams, and AP exams. So many of these exams, SAT 2 exams, AP exams, PSAT exams, if you take the English ones at least for SAT 2 and AP, they're going to have passages, so you'll be used to sort of the College Board's format of the exam. In addition, the PSAT is really just a dumbed down version of the SAT. So, if you're trying to do well on the PSAT, and I'll talk a little bit more in another video about why you would want to do well on the PSAT, it's almost essential that you study for the SAT in that regard. Otherwise, you're going to have to study for the PSAT and the ACT, which are two different types of exams, and you'll be wasting a lot of time. But, the exams are more similar than ever. The SAT has really become more like the ACT with the optional essay, with the no penalty for wrong answers, with science sections, with graphs and data charts. It's really becoming much more like the ACT, more content based. So, if you study for one, I imagine more than ever now for the new SAT and the ACT is that you'll be prepared for the other one as well. So, overall, my advice is take either one. Choose one and do really well on it. If you have to take both because your school district makes you, that's okay. I would still just study for one hardcore. If your school district is making you take the ACT, but you're studying for the SAT, that's fine. You'll do fine on the ACT. It's just a requirement to graduate. You don't need to send your ACT score to colleges if all you want to do is send your SAT score. You can send either one. You don't need to send both. So that's what I recommend. If you do choose to take both exams, you can. It will be a lot of work. For me, when I was in high school, I just arbitrarily chose to study for the SAT and just ignore the ACT completely, and I think that was fine. I didn't have to worry about ever studying for the ACT or worrying about, studying for two different exams, which would have been a lot of work for students. So that's my advice on whether you should take the ACT or the SAT. And don't let the bias of where you live take over or decide what test you take. So just because you live in California, you don't have to take the SAT. Just because you live in Chicago, you don't have to take the ACT. It's just traditionally been that the Midwest takes the ACT and the East Coast and West Coast students will take the SAT, but there really is no reason for that. You can take either exam and be just fine for both college admissions and career success. So overall, No difference. Okay, guys?